Welcome, guys, once again to Hockey Playoff Edition. We are continuing to discuss the latest on the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I am so proud once again to reconnect and collaborate with my friend Avery Jones, who is representing the shirt of the Edmonton Oilers. Avery, how are you?
I'm good. Real happy to do this. The hockey playoffs, the first round, very exciting, very thrilling. Round two for the past couple of games, very exciting for these teams. And I think it's just going to get much more exciting as we continue on to the Stanley Cup finals.
Yes, for sure, Avery. And Toronto Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers. I know that you're a Florida native yourself. Me personally, I want to see the Maple Leafs win because this is a team that has just have lousy playoff experience these last couple of years. But to my surprise, to many people's surprise, they're up 2-0 in the series. They took care of business at home. William Nylander played an outstanding game in game two. Do you think that we are finally seeing the Maple Leafs um get serious in the playoffs? Do you feel that they have a chance to knock the defending champs, or do you feel that now that Florida's going back home, they could even up the score?
I think it's a multitude of things because Toronto did what needed to be done. When you play at home, you take advantage of that home ice and you make sure it works to your advantage. Game one, Toronto came out very physical, goals everywhere. They got Sergei Bobrovsky off his game. The interesting part was Florida coming back late in the game, at least to nearly tie. Game two, Florida realized, okay, this is a different Toronto team. Florida came out first, scored first, but Toronto, there was just no quit in them. And Toronto just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And I think Toronto has figured it out, especially in terms of Sergei Bobrovsky, because the Panthers defense is not doing the best job in order to protect the goaltender from certain situations where the Maple Leafs can get breakaways and fast breaks, and they result in goals. Now, the games three and four shifting to Florida. Game three is tonight in Sunrise, and I'm that arena is going to be rocking. That arena is going to be loud. You kind of heard that story of the crowd in Blackbird, causing a mild earthquake when Metallica played, a couple days ago. So, don't be, surprised if you hear about a large gathering of fans just causing massive decibels on game three, and same thing with game four. Florida needs to come out physical. It works to their advantage. The two big things I think that have helped Florida, the acquisition of Brad Marchand, that has worked to their benefit. They had to wait for him to come off injury, but he has been very good for them. Another acquisition is Seth Jones. A lot of people didn't think he was going. Oh, at the beginning, after once he joined the team, he wasn't producing what a lot of people thought would be prevalent to the Panthers at the time, but he has done very well so far. I think he's got 3 or 4 points, a couple of assists, and then of course, kind of the wild card is Matthew Tkachuk. You get Matthew Tkachuk on board, and then it's almost lights out. And I think them being at home can work to their benefit, but Toronto needs to take advantage early. If they take advantage early, then they could probably shut Florida down. And if that's the case, if they sweep Florida, they sweep Florida. If they take a split out of Sunrise, then they go back home for game five and they want to shut it down. But here's the thing, if they go back to Toronto tied, this momentum shift can go in Florida's direction. But right now, Toronto is in the driver's seat. It's really their series to lose at this point.
Yes, yes, I agree, and I'm looking forward to game three. as the series shifts back to Florida. Avery, the almighty Edmonton Oilers, they just find a way to come away with a victory. And this is a team that I want them, to win it all this year. I'm not sold on their goaltending. That has me concerned, but their offense is just clicking at the right time. Oilers, thank you to Leon Draisaitl. He saved the day with that overtime goal to win 5-4 because they had a two-goal lead twice in this game. So they were fortunate that this would have been a heartbreaking loss had they lost this game. But they're going back to Edmonton up 2-0 against Vegas Golden Knights, a team that they lost to 2 years ago. And you know, you're going back home. That Rogers Arena is going to be rocking. Um, I, Edmonton is one of those cities that I have on my bucket list, Avery, to go in the future. Let's see, because at the same time, nowadays I'm trying to avoid crowds, but let's see what we can do about that. But I am somewhat surprised what I'm seeing in this series so far, but it's hard not to like Leon Draisaitl. I've always liked Leon Draisaitl, but he's one of those hockey players that he's just hard not to like. He's hard not to like. You had to respect the competitor that he is.
I completely agree with you. Leo Draisaitl is one of those players that I think it's kind of like why I like hockey. Granted, I have my favorite teams, but I also have players that follow. And he's one of those players, like also, like Connor McDavid, one of those players that you just want to see succeed. And what the Oilers are doing right now is working in their benefit. Game one, they actually we need to go back to the beginning of the series. That series with Los Angeles Kings, that could have been disastrous. That literally could have been disastrous, but they turned it around and they took out the Kings, which honestly, I thought the Kings kind of had them for a bit. But again, they turned it around, especially after being in the hole 0-2. So now Edmonton does the flip-flop. They go into Vegas, they take two. And just like we have our bug. Granted, I've been to Las Vegas a couple times, but I've never been to Vegas to see the Golden Knights, and I really would love to see them play in Las Vegas.
Me
But
too.
again, that's one of those fan bases where they get behind their team and their team feeds off it and it works to their benefit. And last night could have been one of those instances because Edmonton got out early, they had control, and Vegas just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And the crowd was getting behind the team. And of course, it goes into overtime. Edmonton had like the best chance because they had a 5 minute major, I think within like 3 minutes of overtime. And the Golden Knights, killed it off. But Edmonton just kept pushing, pushing, pushing. McDavid to Draisaitl, game winner. And next thing you know, just like you said, they're headed back to Edmonton, Rogers Center. Like anything, hockey fan bases are something I love because I've been to about six hockey games right now. And even like you say, as a Florida native, even when I travel to watch hockey games, I feel something special, being there and watching, that home team root for their players and root for their team. So Edmonton has something good right now. So going back to Edmonton, Vegas needs to figure out a way to kind of silence the Edmonton crowd in order to get back in it. Just like Florida, but this is on the opposite end. Florida's going home to try to at least even it up. Vegas is going on the road and now they have to fight from elimination, especially a sweep. So, but Edmonton again is in the driver's seat right now, and they're going to use that fan base to work to their benefit. And just like you said, Drysdale is, almost like is their king right now, if you will. He's leading along with McDavid. He's leading that team to what could possibly be another uh, ticket to the Stanley Cup final if everything, works out well to their benefit. But one round at a time, one series at a time, they still have to go through the Golden Knights in order to achieve that.
Last but not least, the Capitals, they even the series against Carolina Hurricanes. Game one, Washington got absolutely outplayed by Carolina, and this time it was a different result. Logan Thompson, one of the heroes for Washington, he made 27 saves. 16 of them came in the last period. So tremendous performance by their goalie. They won this game 3-1. Now we have ourselves a series. Washington, they just had to stay away from what they did in game one. That's the best way I could put it. But what were your thoughts on the Capitals' victory?
This is very surprising because, again, round one, Washington playing uh, Montreal, they kind of Montreal put up a fight, but Washington was just, hey, we're in the driver's seat right now. We're going to take care of business and we're going to wait for who our opponents are. Same thing with Carolina. They kind of manhandled New Jersey. And you have two teams, both healthy. Again, like I said, even as a Floridian, as a hockey fan, if there was a team in the East I would be rooting for, it definitely is Washington. And it's the feels, if you will. The entire story of the Washington Capitals, Alex Ovechkin's run at the goal scoring title, how it panned out late in the season, even though he was injured for like 2 months. The Capitals kind of rallying behind their captain, not only making it to the playoffs, but being in a prime position where they were nearly a President's Trophy winner, but the President's Trophy is kind of a curse for the past few years for hockey teams. But Washington has played very, very well this season. And not only that, they're looking to another Stanley Cup final. So the Capitals are giving me the feels right now as far as what they can do. And you're absolutely correct. Game one, it was kind of like they were very nonchalant. And Carolina is, I think, one of the underrated teams in the East too. They're healthy. They have very good goaltending. Um, uh, Rod Brind'Amour is probably one of the head coaches in hockey where he's very outspoken to his players, but he also gets results. And whatever he said to his players, it worked out well for game one. But I think in game two, especially since they were playing in Washington, DC for the Capitals at home, I think it worked to the Capitals' benefit to say, hey, this did not work in game one. Just like you said, we got outplayed. We need to turn it around. And you saw that. You saw a very, very different Washington Capitals team in game one versus game two. And now going back to Carolina, and on my recent trip to North Carolina, I actually saw the arena in which the Carolina Hurricanes play. And trust me, they have banners around Lebanon Center that when people go, they can see their players, they can rally behind their players. And I think that's another place, kind of a small market, in a way that, is not a traditional hockey city in Raleigh, that the fans there, it's going to work to their benefit. So for the Capitals, again, they have to take that momentum in game two and switch it to game three. And if it doesn't work, the Carolina Hurricanes are just going to take advantage and they're just going to run roughshod all over the Capitals. So again, Alex Ovechkin, he's a factor, but in a way, he's also a non-factor. While the Hurricanes may be looking to him, he's also passing the puck to his teammates. He is making sure his goaltender is in the right frame of mind, as a captain should for his teammates. And the Carolina Washington series, I think, is kind of the underrated series. It's kind of like under the radar. It's tied right now. and it's kind of good that it's tied. No team kind of has the advantage until after game 3 and 4 and how that's going to work. So that's a series you kind of want to pay attention to, just like all the other series that are happening. But this is one where the needle could go either way. If you get that good goal scoring chance, who does the momentum shift to? If you get that great save, who does the momentum shift to? So the Capitals, Hurricanes, that's a great series. I think that more people should pay attention to, especially because it's even right now. It's even right now, and it can be anybody's series right now to take advantage.